Okay, this question comes to us from Carl Best, and this is something I haven't done a lot on the site. I'm going to do more and more because I spent the majority of my career. This is kind of what set me apart from a lot of the other teachers back 30 some odd years ago, was understanding the human body, how to evaluate it, and how it applies to your swing. So Carl's question is, he's never been able, when he swings, to keep this triangle or keep his elbows together. They've always wanted to separate. And he goes, does that kill my distance or kill my swing? No. So the question becomes, is it important to maintain that triangle and keep this angle, the distance between my forearms, the same? Well, in an ideal world, I would say yes, it would be nice to do that. However, how do we decide whether or not you can actually do that? If you take your elbow, take your hands, create this, roll your fingers up so you put your knuckles on your temples, thumbs pointed down. Pinch your shoulder blades back together. Now, with my wrists flat, you should be able to touch your elbows. See, I can even cross my elbows. So it's really easy for me to touch my elbows. Open, touch my elbows. Now, if you go to do this and this happens, so you start in and your elbows go like this and it's hard for you to touch your elbows, and the only way you can maybe touch them is cup your wrists, and then it's still hard to touch your elbows, then the flexibility in your shoulders, in your pec muscles, and in your back muscles, you're tight. So your shoulder capsules don't work right. So what does that mean? Well, Mr. Nicholas had trouble doing this. So he was really tight, had a hard time doing this. So what do Jack's elbows do? Well, when you get right about here in your backswing, if you don't have that flexibility, your arms can't fold up for your elbows to stay close together. So what's going to happen? Your elbows are going to come apart, because as soon as your shoulders get to a certain point, if you don't have this flexibility, then your arms aren't going to stay there. So see, I could swing, put my elbows, I could put my forearms right together because I have enough flexibility to do that. I could do it on this side and on this side. But if this is hard to do, then you're going to have to allow your elbows to pull apart a little bit. Is that going to affect your distance? If I'm not mistaken, Jack had hit it pretty far. So no, it's not going to affect your distance. So what did Jack do? He went back. Everybody said he had a flying right elbow. Well, no, that's just how his arms worked. And so he was able to hit it. Now, if you watch that, my elbows come apart. That's okay, especially if that's who you are physically. So a lot of what we're going to start doing with the site is I'm going to start bringing back into play, how do you evaluate yourself? How do you figure out what your swing should look like to fit you? I've kind of stayed away from this because I wanted to get more into the golf swing side. But we're going to start doing more and more on how do you figure out what your swing should look like relative to who you are physically. That's a big, big deal. The model that you want to make work is you.